So this is the second to last in our series, Building Kamishibai Communities and Collaborations. Next month, we will have our last session. And some of you may remember Yumi Izuyama. She's presented, actually, both of our presenters next month have presented in other series that we've done. We'll have Yumi Izuyama and Maria Teresa Farfan Garcia, who is the mother of our wonderful interpreter this evening, Eteri Trevino. And they will be talking about their collaboration between Mexico and the US on May 17th at 1 p.m. So we will send you more details about that. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Tamara Reyes Palacios. I hope I'm saying your name right, from Chile. I couldn't stop asking questions when I started talking to her because there's so much about Kamishibai in Chile that I didn't know, and it has a really interesting history. And Tamara is actually writing her master's thesis about this history. So she has a lot of really interesting information to share. And she's also a Kamishibai performer and creator. So without further ado, I'm going to pin her, and Eteri, our translator, will enter into the conversation as needed. I think Tamara has prepared to present in English for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight her for everybody. So welcome.
Hello, everyone. Oh, my English is not good. I'm trying to tell the stories in English, but sometimes I'm speaking Spanish, and Neteri helps me with the translator. Um, my name is Tamara Reyes. I am a storyteller of Kamishibai and investigated in Kamishibai too. I have a editorial, a publishing house, with publish Kamishibai and Chile and stories for children's. Today I tell the three stories traditional in Kamishibai. The first story publishing in Kamishibai by Ekaresur, and two stories publishing my publishing house el año pasado y hace algunos años atrás.
Last year and some years before that.
Sin más preámbulos, I begin. Today I have a yukata, but I use like a haori in this moment. This yukata have copihues. It's a traditional flower in Chile. So it's a syncretism and hybrid culture like Japan and Chile. Let's start. Today, at the Little Theater, we present La Tortilla Corredora, a children's story in a version by Laura Herrera, illustrated by Scarlett Narciso. And the story starts here. Once upon a time, there was a woman who lived in countryside, in the shades of an old orange tree. She has a three-story house and 7 very hungry children. One day, the woman prepared a delicious tortilla that she places on embers. The 7 children look at the tortilla, and the tortilla looked at the 7 children. When the tortilla was ready, The woman took it out of the embers. She was going to shake it with a cloth, but the tortilla jumped out of her hands and ran away. These 7 children want to eat me, shouted the tortilla, and is rolling down the hill. The rooster was over there. Where are you going in such a hurry? She asked. You're so delicious, and I want to eat you. No, sir, said the tortilla. The 700 children didn't eat me, and you won't eat me either. And he kept running. But moo! Further on was the cow. Moo! Where are you going in such a hurry? She asked. You look so tainted that I want to eat you. No, madame, said the tortilla. The 700 children didn't eat me. The rooster didn't eat me, and you won't eat me either. And she kept running. Then there was a dog. Woof, woof. Where are you going in such a hurry? He asked. You smell so good that I want to eat you. No, sir, said the tortilla. The 700 children didn't eat me. The rooster didn't eat me. The cow didn't eat me. And you won't eat me. And she kept running. But further down was a river. And no, what shall I do? Exclaimed the tortilla. I can't cross the river. I could drown. I could fall apart. I could die. The pig suggested, I can take you to the other side. Climb on my back. The running tortilla jumped onto the pig's back. The pig went into the river, but the water splashes the tortilla. Climb on my nose, the pig told him. That way you won't get wet. The tortilla climbed onto the pig nose, but the pig turned it upside his nose. The tortilla is wounded, and the pig opened its mouth big, very, very big. But before the pig could swallow it, the little tortilla jumped and escaped. The tortilla was saved, and the story is over. Is over? No! The dog baked, the cow mooed, the rooster crowed, and the 700 children were screaming with a dreadful hunger. So, the mother, she prepares potato with rice. And the running tortilla, she is running around the world. They say that no one has been able to eat her yet. And colorín colorado, esta historia se ha terminado.
Wonderful, thank you.
Espero que se haya entendido mi inglés. Esta es la primera historia publicada en Chile en formato Kamishibai y es una adaptación de El hombre de jengibre.
So I hope you understood the English, and it was the first story that was published for Kamishibai in Chile, and it's an adaptation of the Ginger Man story.
Ok. No sé si se fijaron, pero podemos irlo comentando. En Chile, las láminas de Kamishibai tienen el texto solo en la última lámina.
So I don't know if you
Yes.
noticed, but in Chile, the text is only on the last slide. So it looks like this.
Because the slides in blank. No, this is a resume, and
This
the
is,
first
yeah.
the first slice is in blank. This format is promoted by Ecaresur. Voy a mostrárselos en la presentación porque es parte de la historia de cómo se adaptó el Kamishibai en Chile.
So she
So,
will go further in the stories in the presentation. So before that, let's keep going with another story of Kamishibai.
The second story is my own creation. It's about a fox in the north of Chile. She is search the most beautiful and most brilliant star. So the story is tell us the most starred brilliant fox. And this is the beginning. One day, Kishin woke up alone off the steep. His mother at once told him, if you ever feel lonely, seek the brightest star. There I'll find your home. And so did it, Kitin. He went slow to the valley, and he found a sleeping star. Who is the sleeping star? It's a city, a star called Copiapó. Life there wasn't easy, but it was fun. But they had named Akucha, a cat, and for a while he was happy there. But one night, Kucha told him, I love stars. I love staring at the stars now. So they don't look it very bright from the city. You can really only see that one, the brightest one. What will I look if we go close? And Kucha questions became skitin. And for the first time, he thought this might not be the right place to live. He was focused on that when someone man came looking from him, and they took it. Oh, oh, oh! And the steep again. So he changed began to the desert, and he decided to find a better place of life. So he walked north and west for a long while, until they found a flowery carpet on the road where an unusual animal spoke to him. What's a Tia fox doing around these flowers? Don't tell me you were here are Hans Biscachas, because I can assure you we don't taste very well. You are a very talkative little creature, said Kitin. I'm not here to hunt you because I'm looking for a violet star. In order to see it, you will have to climb somewhere very high, asked the Biscacha. But you won't make it up there on your own. Follow me. I know a friend who lives up higher. Sagari, he knows the way. And so, Fox and Biscata walked across the flowery desert. After long walk, the heads go really intense until Kitin saw a brilliant glow at a distance of over that lies there are wearing pink, delicate clothes. So he runs and fought and he called. You are lucky, that's what a mirage, foolish fox, say on of the clothes next to him. Ew! Bah! Ice salad! I can't drink this water! But this salty water has looked for us flaming to eat. That is why we live in here. Oh, I'm so glad I found you, Rosinto, said the Vizcacha as it arrived. My friend and I are seeking the brightest star. Well, that's a pretty far away. Although I remember a delicious crystal clear salt lake around there. I am glad to take you there. And so, taking big leaps, the flamingo jumped off of the water and started walking through the desert. They walked for a long while until they decided to take a break, for they were exhausted. But they are not only ones who had decided to take a break. Do the running away from the bats, now nothing, they enter a different cave, and when they stepped outside, the view dazzled them. Such green pastures, though the Vizcacha, I'm still stay here. Such clean waters, though the flamingo, I will invite my friends to live here. Such a beautiful star, although distant, though the little folks, I can research it. Disappointed, he saw his own reflection in the lake. The little fox then remembered what the mother had told him, because right there, reflecting in the water, the most brilliant star guided him. When he saw his friend, the notice and glow reflect in them as well. And when he looked up to the sky, the little fox found it within himself. And so he understood. Seek the brightest star, there you'll find your home. If the brilliant star shines within us, anywhere we glow can be a home. She needs to see it. So the fox ran and ran back to the city, and he found a cocha that, thanks to the present, Hitchin never felt lost again, and he neither did his friend Kucha. By the way, humans also need to see the brightest star. That is why they're always looking from it. And colorín colorado, este cuento se ha terminado.
Thank you, Tamara. We have one more story.
Yes, but ¿cómo estamos de tiempo?
Is the time okay?
Yes, time is okay.
Fantastic. This third story is my friends Magdalena Correa and Catalina Fuensalida. And this story is about the most rarely chickens in Chile. So to begin, I wish tell us a question. Who is the color of the eggs? White?
White.
Or brown, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Blue.
Yeah. But in Chile, ounce chickens put a blue eggs. This story is blue egg. Pietro, Coyo, and Piro grew up. They had arrived some times ago, and little by little, they had gotten used to life in hen house. They roosted would get up to do what he liked best. The hens jumped from the perch and began searching of treasures. The green boots opened the gate. When inside, I did they things. Ketro, Coyo, and Piro grew up, and one day they also laid their first egg. Piro's egg was a white as every other hen's eggs. She was proud. She announced the good news, and everyone congratulated her. Ketro's egg looked as if had been toasted by the sun. It looked like autumn leaves. The rest of the hens looked at it, and they looked at each one. No matter, Ketrus thought, maybe you'll lay at the white one tomorrow. But Koyo eggs, I did not turn off, and she had expected. When the rest of the hens had left, she called Ketro and Piro and showed them eggs. And the egg is a blue. How come you laid a blue egg? Bo asked. Koyo lowered her head. She did not know how to ask with that. Maybe you started at the sky from too long, says Piro. Or maybe you ate too many eggplants, says Ketro. The three of them hid the egg under the hay. Koyo promised never to look at the sky again and to keep away from those blue vegetables. In the afternoon, the green boots collect the eggs. What about you, light one? Did you know lay egg? Koyo felt her legs shaking. She clambered onto the hen house perch and sat there. She was barely and to sleep that night due to her nerves. The roosters announced a new day. The hens took a waltz, started perching, and one by one went to lay her eggs. Once again, Peter laid a huge white egg. Kettle laid a brown egg. But Koyo's egg was even blue than that one before. She couldn't hide it this time. All the hens came to see it and took a step back. Oh, it's a blue egg. Oh, what's funny, little thing? Oh, Blue, poor girl. Who knows what will happen to you now? Some were laughing. Others told awful story of the hen that had disappointed, while others caressed her head, trying to research her. Koyo started to cry, and the three birds hid the egg again. The green boots book came around in the evening and approached her. What's the matter, light one? Why won't you lay eggs like other sisters? Eat, pretty girl. I'm sure you'll produce an egg tomorrow. That night, everyone in the hen house slept, listening the Koyo served. The next morning, the rooster didn't do what the young mouse. The hens didn't search for treasures, and they always did, did they go running in the field. Piro lays her white egg, Ketro her brown egg. The egg surrounded Koyo. They told her stories in the order to clean her mind. They spoke of wild things, clouds, milk, sheep, flowers. Koyo laid her egg. She grew up slowly, and the hens took it. Oh no! They were all so focused on the blue egg that they didn't hear the green boots as they approached it. Oh, I can't believe it! I don't believe it! The boots bet at a large man appeared who knelt in front of Koyo's nest. He took the blue egg that was still warm to the touch. I can't believe it! It's Jura Mapuche's hand. He carefully placed the egg on the nest, took Koyo in his arms, and caressed him. Be welcome, welcome, little one, of the blue eggs. The rest of the hens stared at each other, rather impressed. Peter and Kettle uncovered the other two eggs, and they have hidden. Oh, there's two more. They are the most wonderful eggs I ever seen in my life. They're like those eggs my mother, my grandmother, and all the women in the family used to talk about. The day Boots tossed extra grains. All the hens ate to their heart's content. That night, the perch was full of happy hens. Peter kept thinking of her next white egg. Ketro thought of her brown egg. But Koyo fell asleep hoping for her next blue egg. And this is the end of the story.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamara. Those were lovely. We have questions in the chat, so maybe about these stories. So before you begin your presentation, maybe we can ask a few questions first, because
Okay.
the second story and the third story use different kinds of media, like maybe photography and three-dimensional that looked like the third one looked like paper cutouts that were photographed. So if you could talk a little bit about the techniques used.
Yes. Please, Seteri, help me. Mi editorial se especializa en ilustración no convencional.
So her publishing company focus on stories that are non-conventional.
Nosotros trabajamos en clay, en plasticina, en vellón, bordado, and papercraft.
¿En plastilina dijiste?
Sí, plastilina.
So they use plasticine and bordado también, embroidery, ¿y qué más?
Bordado, plasticina, papercraft, collage.
Mm-hmm.
So this image is produced like a photo because yo vengo del stop motion animation. I am yo soy cineasta de formación.
She studied cinematography, so she studied slow motion cinema. That's why it has a backup of that.
Entonces nosotros reunimos a artistas chilenas que utilizan técnicas diferentes de ilustración y ese es el estilo que publicamos tanto en libros como en Kamishibai.
That's why they reunited with different artists from Chile that do art in unconventional ways, and they publish those books like as books, and Kamishibai stories. Both of them are in that kind of style.
So I have a question about that. Do you use the Kamishibai images directly into the picture books, or do you change them for the
I
picture?
changed it.
You change
A ver. This is a blue egg book.
it.
Some illustrate is like a same in book and Kamishibai, but other illustrate is format book and format Kamishibai, because the Kamishibai needs the center of the image, and the book is interrupted by that place.
The gutter?
So yes, so this image is so many different.
Hmm. Hmm. So you have to make room for the text also.
Nosotros cuando preparamos los libros para formato Kamishibai y formato libro, hacemos 2 series de fotos por cada imagen. Una para el libro, otra para el Kamishibai.
So they make this series of photography for each one of them. One from the book for the book style, and 2 series of photography for the Kamishibai style.
Interesting. So is every story then also made into a Kamishibai, or do you only choose certain picture books and Kamishibai that both work?
Eteri, tradúceme, no entendí todo, por favor.
Pregunta si todas las historias que publican en libros ilustrados se traducen, o sea, también se publican como en versión Kamishibai o son independientes.
No todas, algunas, porque no todas las historias permiten la narración en láminas. Es necesario que tenga cierta estructura, personajes, voces, para poder ser adaptadas a Kamishibai. Por
So
ejemplo, los micro...
not
Dale,
all
dale.
of them are like both
Ok.
book, picture book and Kamishibai style. Some of the pictures book can't be made to Kamishibai because they also take in count that they have a proper like structure for Kamishibai. The voices they need to use for the Kamishibai. Also, the characters, they need to have characters for the Kamishibai stories to make them. So not all of the pictures books are also in Kamishibai version.
Okay, thank you. Let me remove spotlight for a moment and just see everybody. Are there any other questions before we move on to the presentation? I just want to see if there are any raised hands. I think she'll be talking more about these issues in the presentation. Okay, great. Well, I know you have a PowerPoint prepared to tell us more about
Yes.
how Kamishibai came to Chile and how it's being used there. So I'm going to spotlight you again, so you can begin.
Ok. Ya. Voy a compartir mi pantalla. Me dicen si
Sí.
se ve bien.
No problem. She will share her screen and please tell us if you can see it correctly.
Ok. ¿Ustedes pueden ver mi presentación?
I can see it.
Sí.
Ok. Perfecto, ya. Entonces ustedes ven el modo presentación y yo veo el modo notas. That's correct?
También se ven las notas.
Oh, ok.
You're also
Voy
seeing
a
the notes,
pasar.
right? Or just the presentation?
Now
Ahí.
now
¿Ahí
it's
sí?
yes, now it's good.
Ahora sí.
Perfecto.
Perfect.
Okay, this presentation is in English, but sometimes I'm speaking Spanish for complement that image and answers, or maybe So, as Master Pepe Cabana says, Kamishibai is a gift from Japan to the world, and Chile is no exception. I am Tamara Reyes Palacios, a Chilean children's literature editor and writer interested in the promotion, research, and dissemination of Kamishibai as a narrative phenomenon in Chile and Latin America. During 120, 2022 y 2023, I had the opportunity to complete my master thesis in children's and young adults literature at the University of Zaragoza. And as a research topic, I explored the story of Kamishibai in my country. I want to structure this presentation by talking about Kamishibai in Chile as a garden, nourished by different sources and growing and flourishing with the love and dedication of everyone. Furthermore, its branches extend throughout the countries and influence neighborhood countries and territories. Let's begin. Chile is a long and narrow country, happily overlooking the Pacific Ocean, just like Japan. It's shortest and bathed by countless legends, traditional tales, and ancestral cultures, such as the Mapuche, Diaguita, and Aymara, among others. Traditional stories have always support that allow them to perpetuate this existence through generations. But have generally carries this responsibility, and chronicles like Ramón Laval and the Chilean Folklore Society began this task at the beginnings of the 20th century. However, the figure of the traditional storytellers, first indigenous, late peasants, and currently urbans, telling stories through their own voices, has continued to this day. Kamishibai arrived in Chile to become an ally of these storytellers and new form of artistic expression. And all storytellers from northern Chile tell the story of a Japanese barber in this hometown of Iquique, telling Kamishibai stories to children in this shop in the 1970. From that story a memory whose names are carried away by the wind.
1970.
Eso. Gracias. The official story tells us en 1985, ¿ya?
1985.
Thank you. Japan Foundation donate teachings materials of the Chilean Japanese culture and Institute of Japanese Languages, include several sets of Kamishiban prints. This material remained on the Institute walls from decades, as Chile experienced military dictatorships from 1973 a 1990.
1973 to 1990.
Gracias. Storytellers who told stories in their village long before the colonial era were silenced and hidden during this period, only able to tell stories that did not affect the ruling regime. This is why the returns to democracy, the holding of the Theater of Nation Festival in 1993.
1993.
Thank you. And the first professional oral storytellers workshop. Not only was the figure of the traditional Chilean oral storytellers vindicated, but the concept of listening to oral storytelling as a spectacular distinct from theater was also valued. Oral storytelling in Chile is not a recent phenomenon. From the Epeutufe is a Mapuche storyteller, Epeutufe, To the payadores, the act of sharing words, rhymes, and telling stories has accompanied Chileans for centuries. And from the traditional lullabies and stories shade around the brazier, we now find an equally warm phenomenon, but adapted to the urban vortex, contemporary oral storytellings, with its many variations from the most austere and strippers for accessories to the one length with a personification and scenery which the bear little resemblance to theatrical performance. Manuel Peña Muñoz is a prolific writer and researcher of a children's literature. Wrote History of Children's Literature en 1982.
1982.
He is the first theatrical story that one comprehensive gateway all the existing information regarding children's literature. Publications from the 1821 a 1981. ¿Sí?
1821 to
Ujú.
al 1881, 1881.
1981, hasta casi ahora. 900 años o sea, son 900
Del
títulos de toda la historia.
1821 a 1981.
Sí, son más de 100 años.
Sorry, 1821 to 1981. So more
Mhm.
like 100 years.
The professor says, magic lanterns and shadow puppeteers cut out on a silk curtains appeared during this period at a favorite home entertainment. These optical toys were also introduced in Japan around the same time and were very important in the emergence of Kamishibai in that country. It's important to remember that Chile experienced a period of dictatorship between 1973 and 1990.
1973 to 1990s.
Thanks. Which led to the concealment of artistic work, especially that which reflect on national events. Unlike in Japan, where storytellers tell stories of the war, in Chile it was illustrators and moralists with the Ramona Parras Brigade, among others who expressed the national sentiments of that period. It is important to note that the cultural resistance movement were left-leaning as the ruling power was right-wing. This will explain why, although there were precedents of Kamishibai in 1970, and the art of oral storyteller has been around in Chile from centuries, it wasn't until 119 that oral storytellers returned to the public stage and adopted the forms of contemporary oral storytellings and, on the other hand, reading promotion for children. ¿Se entiende? Porque mi inglés no es muy bueno.
Do you
Eteri, ¿se entiende?
understand? Because she says her English is not very good. Is it okay or?
I think it's okay. Maybe could I ask? I think she's saying that the Kamishibai was there from the 1970s, but it only really took off in the 1990s because of the dictatorship years. Is that true?
Tradúceme, Eteri, por favor.
Sí, dice, lo que está entendiendo es que tenían las historias desde el 1970, pero debido a la dictadura se empezó a utilizar más el Kamishibai hasta los 90.
Sí, hay un antecedente, pero no está escrito, de que había un narrador japonés en Iquique, en el norte de Chile, en 1970.
Yes, there is an antecedent that there was a Japanese storyteller in 1970s, but there is not no hay evidencia, ¿verdad?
Sí, no hay evidencia. O sea, es la historia de un viejito que narra que él vio de niño a este narrador.
So there is no like real evidence. Just they know there was a Japanese storyteller in the 70s because there is another oral narrator, like Chilean oral narrator, that he tells everybody that he heard this Japanese storyteller in the 70s tell Kamishibai stories.
Mm. La historia oficial es que en 1980 llegan las primeras láminas al Instituto Cultural Chileno-Japonés.
So the official evidence is that in 1980s, in the Cultural Institute, Chilean Japanese Cultural Institute, they brought the Kamishibai for the first time.
Entonces, esas láminas estuvieron guardadas durante la dictadura, se usaban solo para enseñar idiomas y nadie pensó o trabajó el potencial que tenían para usarse de otras maneras que no fuera solo enseñar idiomas.
So those Kamishibai stories that they brought during the 80s were actually just in that institute, cultural institute, because of the dictatorship, and they just use it to teach languages and not actually like explode their full potential, the Kamishibai stories.
So, this is, bueno, en 1990, the return to democracy, and artistic expressions of various kinds become openly manifested. It was in this context that the first contemporary oral storytelling presentation and workshop took place in Chile, beginning at the Theater of the Nation Festival en 1993.
This is 1993.
Rubén Martínez, que era un narrador venezolano, viene a dar el primer workshop de narración oral contemporánea.
So there is a Venezuelan writer. It's an escritor.
Él era un narrador venezolano que vino a Chile.
An oral narrator that is called Rubén Martínez went to Chile and gave the first workshop for storytelling.
Porque en Chile hasta el momento existían los payadores, los narradores populares de campo, y no habían adaptaciones de esa narración de campo en contextos urbanos.
So in Chile, they have something they call payadores. That's like countryside oral narrators. So only in the countryside, they have those kind of like storytelling and so on. But in the actual like cities, they didn't have that culture of having payadores and oral narration. So until when that Venezuelan oral narrator came to Chile, it's when they start to take these kind of workshops at the cities.
I continue. This is interesting to emphasize this point because unlike in other Latin American countries, storytelling for adults and for children follow different paths. In Chile, storytelling for adults continue its path with festivals and workshops mostly, like to these early practitioners of the 19 years. O sea, de 1990. Meanwhile, storytellings for children was likened to reading mediation, preschools, schools, and libraries. O sea, siguieron caminos separados.
They took different routes with different paths.
Es ahí cuando ocurren una serie de coincidencias que permiten al Kamishibai convertirse en lo que es hoy en Chile.
So at that time is that when it occurred several coincidences to make what it is now the Kamishibai in Chile.
In 1999, Genevieve Paté, director of the Joy Path Lives in France, present Kamishibai to a mass audience as a tool for mediation and reading promotion at the International Seminar on School Libraries in Chile. It was at this moment that Constanza Megui is the third person in the photo, founder of the National Coordination of School Libraries, the SACRA, la Coordinación de Bibliotecas Públicas, of the Chile's Ministry of Education. Fell in love with this format and promoted this emergence and use in the country kindergartens and school libraries. ¿Se entiende? Esto fue la promoción del Kamishibai en Chile surgió de un evento particular, pero hubo un gran interés desde el gobierno. Entonces el gobierno ayudó a que el Kamishibai se masificara en el territorio.
So the promotion of Kamishibai was actually made by the government. They got interested in it and they promoted it over the whole country.
But the Kamishibai has begun like it to the classrooms, pedagogy and reading promotion, not for all the public. En el 2009, ¿sí?
2009,
Manuel Peña Muñoz is the fourth person in the photos, the investigate of children literature in Chile, the most investigate. He organized, along with other colleagues, the seminar on Latin America children's literature, which was attended by researchers from various countries. On that occasion, Carlos Rubio, as a Costa Rica storyteller, who had learned from a Japanese storyteller, presented Kamishibai as an aesthetic and as artistic research, not just a pedagogical tool. From then on, various storytellers, librarians, and teachers began their own journey in exploring this beautiful art. In 110, the first national producer Kamishibai prints were published by Editorial Ecaresu as a subsidiary of Editorial Yacaré, directed in Chile by Verónica Uribe, the second person in this photo, and who had first encountered Kamishibai in Venezuela while working as a Banco de Libro, like a IBI. She was the one who created the format we use in Chile, A3 sizes prints with the entered text of the story on the last print. Esto es muy importante porque antes los Kamishibai que llegaron, los primeros que llegaron, fuera de los japoneses, digamos, los que trajo el ministerio eran españoles y los españoles los publicaban en un tamaño un poquito más pequeño y tenían el texto igual que el japonés, detrás de cada lámina de la misma manera.
So this is really important because at the beginning, besides the Japanese stories they brought from Japan, they also have stories from Spain. And the Spanish format is also similar to the Japanese. They have in each slide, they have the story writing at the back of it. And also the format is a little bit smaller than the
This is a
actual
Kamishibai
Chilean
in
ones.
Spain. This is a Kamishibai in Spain. For example, this Kamishibai is like the same, the Japanese structure. Like this slice, tienen el texto por detrás,
They
como
have
el
the
japonés.
story at the back, like the Japanese. This is the Spanish one, right?
Y esta edición viene en español, en inglés, en francés y en italiano.
It has 4 languages, one Spanish, English, French, and Italian.
Pero en Chile se publican con todo el texto en la última lámina.
But the ones they're printing now in Chile are the texts are only printed out at the last slide. So the whole text is in just one slide.
This is another example of pecané. Ratón de campo, ratón de ciudad. And this story has text in the end of Kamishibai. By the other side is in blank. And this is a RB example, editorial RB.
This is a
slice
publishing house, RD.
Yes. This is a slice. Estas no están bien resueltas porque algunas cosas son muy pequeñas.
So these ones are not are
Como que no
kind
están
of
bien hechas,
small.
como que
They are not
eso.
really well made because some of the pictures look kind of real small.
Como en Chile, la tradición de Kamishibai se ha ido adaptando de una experiencia foránea, algunas editoriales lo único que hacen es tomar el libro y adaptarlo al tamaño de la lámina, pero no consideran la importancia de las cosas pequeñas que no se van a ver de lejos.
So because this is a foreigner from Japan, some of the publishing houses, they don't take in count how far they will look like when they put the picture books in the Kamishibai. So they just print out just like that the illustration of the picture book to the Kamishibai, and sometimes it gets out like that Kamishibai you just saw that it looks kind of really small. It's not adapted.
María Cristina Pérez de Arce, la directora del Instituto Cultural Chileno-Japonés, narra Kamishibai japonés tradicional y promueve el formato pequeño y las láminas que vienen en japonés.
Ella es del Instituto...
Instituto Cultural Chileno-Japonés. Es chilena.
Okay. So there is a person that's called María Cristina Pérez de Arces, and she works at the Cultural Institute, Chilean and Japanese, and she promotes that they should adapt the story.
This is a influence to Kamishibai in Chile. Genevieve Paté, Japan Foundation, of course, Clara Butnick, Pepe Cabana, and for me, Tara McGowan. I love her because she's the most interesting investigate to Kamishibai in the world.
Thank you.
So, currently, aquí voy a empezar a hablar un poco en español porque voy a hablar un poco de mi experiencia de investigadora y narradora de Kamishibai.
So here she will talk a little bit more in Spanish because she will talk about her experience as a researcher and Kamishibai storyteller.
En la actualidad hay muchos narradores de Kamishibai en distintas partes del país. Yo no lo sabía y nos empezamos a reunir básicamente porque yo promuevo un evento que se llama Festival Internacional de Kamishibai.
So she didn't know before that they have a lot of Kamishibai storytellers in the country, there in Chile. So she started to know these people because she started to make a festival, an international Kamishibai festival in her country.
Este festival ya lleva 4 ediciones. Lo organizó con Fresia Tremolini de la Corporación Cultural de Las Condes en Santiago, la capital.
Perdón, ¿cómo se llama? ¿Fundación?
Se llama Corporación Cultural de Las
Corporación.
Condes.
De Las Condes.
Ujú.
So this festival has already had 4 editions, and Tamara Reyes does it with another companion, and her name is called Fresia Tremoline, and she's part of the cultural corporation de Las Condes.
Esto surgió a raíz de que yo narraba Kamishibai a las infancias, pero empecé a hacer cursos inspirada en el libro de Tara McGowan sobre la metodología del Kamishibai para niños.
So
Y
at the beginning, she did just
mm,
Kamishibai storytelling, but later she started to do Kamishibai workshops with the help of Tara's book.
ujú.
Adelante.
Bueno, eso, entonces, usando la metodología de Tara, yo empecé a enseñarle a niños a hacer Kamishibai y yo quería que los niños tuviesen un espacio donde ellos pudiesen mostrar su arte. Entonces, empecé a organizar un festival,
Mm,
primero que celebrábamos el día del Kamishibai, el 7 de diciembre, y después se convirtió en un festival más grande, y ahí se llamó Festival de Kamishibai, donde narraban niños, pero también narraban adultos.
De acuerdo. So at the beginning, she gave the workshops to children, and because she wanted the children to present their stories in an event, she started to do this kind of presentations at the Kamishibai during the Kamishibai Day in December 7th. And later, besides the children, there also were adults that started to participate in the festivals for Kamishibai storytelling.
Em, En la actualidad, el festival, el último festival, contó con la participación de 10.000 personas de público.
So the last festival had 10,000 people as audience.
Wow.
Y logró convocar a narradores de distintas partes de Chile.
And the Kamishibai storytellers came from different cities in Chile.
Ujú. Hoy contamos con una red. Hay dos redes importantes de narración oral, bueno, tres. Una red es Matrísticas, que cuenta con 200 miembros que son puras mujeres narradoras orales de distintas técnicas.
So there are three important, how do you call it?
Groups,
Networks, three
networks.
important networks, and one of them is called Matrísticas in Spanish,
Ujú.
and it comes with 200 women that tell stories.
Otra red es la red de Kamishibai Chile, que yo fundé, que cuenta con alrededor de 100 narradores, desde Arica hasta Punta Arenas.
So the second one is called Kamishibai Chile, and that one was founded by Tamara Reyes, and it comes with around 100 people from around different cities, from Arica to Punta Arenas, that you can see in the map.
Ujú. Algunos de los participantes más destacados son Felipe de la Ruta del Teatrino. Bueno, él es un narrador de Kamishibai que hizo su camino como un narrador japonés. Viajó en bicicleta desde México hasta Chile, recorriendo poblados pequeños, narrando historias de la tradición oral latinoamericana en Kamishibai y en títeres.
So one of some of the best highlights of the people that are in those the networks, it's one of them is called Felipe de la Ruta del Teatrino. And he actually traveled by bicycle from Mexico to Chile in small town and to telling Kamishibai stories in small towns throughout his travel.
Yes. En la actualidad hay 14 editoriales que publican historias en Kamishibai, algunas con más experiencia que otras, y el formato Kamishibai es conocido, o sea, casi todos los niños de Chile han visto al menos una vez o han escuchado la palabra Kamishibai o han tenido la experiencia de ver a un narrador oral con Kamishibai.
Right now, there are 14 publishing houses in Chile. So if not all of them, at least most of the Chilean children have at least once saw Kamishibai or heard the word Kamishibai in their life.
And this is the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if you can stop sharing, I
Mhm.
will uh, let everybody join us. I'm sure there are questions. I just want to make sure when you say there are 14 publishers, is that 14 Kamishibai publishers or 14 publishers altogether?
Em, hay, eh, hay más de, hay más de 200 editoriales en Chile que publican diferentes cosas, para adultos, para niños, en fin. Dentro de estas 14, las 14 son editoriales infantiles que publican libros para niños, pero que además publican láminas de Kamishibai. En Chile no hay ninguna que publique únicamente Kamishibai. Solo publican libros o sea,
Sí.
libros para niños y Kamishibai.
So, so in total, there are like 200 publishers in Chile. From those 200 publishers, there are 14 that publish children's books. And besides the children's books, so like pictures books, they also publish Kamishibai stories. So there is no one publisher house that only publishes Kamishibai stories. They publish both picture books and Kamishibai stories.
Yeah,
Gracias al festival, perdón, gracias al festival, el Kamishibai se ha promovido mucho más y hay nuevas editoriales infantiles que quieren publicar sus cuentos en Kamishibai.
So sorry, thanks to the festival, there are actually more publishing houses that publish pictures books for children that want to join and also publish Kamishibai stories too.
Mhm. Yeah, this was the story that I heard about Chile that surprised me the most because you have so many more publishing houses making Kamishibai than they have in Japan right now. So that's really impressive. Okay, I have lots of questions, but I'm sure that other people do too. So please either raise your hand or use the raise hand function or just let us know. I will check the chat. There have been a lot of great comments as well, so we'll save the chat for you. Yeah,
Walter
so
pregunta por el
yeah,
narrador que
Walter.
recorría de México.
I
Oh,
have a question.
mhm.
The fellow who bicycled from Mexico down to Chile for the festival and told stories as he went along in small towns, that's a
eh,
fascinating story. Can he be
yes,
contacted? I would very
yes,
like to speak with him.
this is my friend, Isa Felipe. He founded La Ruta del Teatrino and Bibliocletas por Chile.
Mhm.
It's a group for promote Kamishibai and puppets in
Really?
many countries. And él se tomó como 7 años en recorrer en bicicleta desde México hasta Chile.
He took like 7 years to travel by bicycle from Mexico to Chile.
Well, that's marvelous. Is there
Yes,
any way to contact him?
yes. Les puedo enviar su contacto después. Él vive en la capital y también vive en la playa, entonces tendrían que escribirle por correo.
So she can tell you the contact information later.
Okay.
And he lives in two cities, one in the main city of Chile and also at the beach. So you need to send an email to contact him.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, there are a lot of comments in the chat thanking you for your wonderful presentation. Bob says congratulations on all the wonderful things happening in Chile with Kamishibai. And Luisa also thanks you. Are there any other questions? We have some more time if people want to know more or go into more detail. Walter has another one.
Tamara, does your publishing house sell outside of Chile?
Yes,
Do you export?
yes, in Busca Libre platform in web. We export an own Kamishibai slice for the other countries.
Mhm.
This is most efficient form to buy because own export is difficult, but Busca Libre is a very big distribution house,
Yes.
so they um,
Could
export
you
to.
could you also provide that information? I'm probably not the only person listening who might like to buy
Yes.
some stories.
Yeah, if
Busca
you could
Libre.
put the website in the chat for everyone, that would be wonderful. Um, I'm curious also about the connection between the government promoting Kamishibai and the publishers. Tamara, when the government, you said that it sort of promotes Kamishibai in the schools in Chile. Do they purchase Kamishibai from your publishers to use in the schools, or how does that work?
No, cuando el gobierno empieza a promoverlo en Chile, todavía no habían editoriales que publicaran Kamishibai. Estaba como probándose, algunas personas lo conocían, pero no era algo masivo. Constanza Mekis, que fue también directora del IBI Chile y también del IBI Latinoamérica Caribe, em, ella promovió el Kamishibai desde el gobierno y hizo que el gobierno comprara butai y láminas afuera, a España, para ponerlas en los colegios y los jardines.
So at the beginning, it wasn't, they didn't have that many, like that, any publishing houses when the government started to implement the Kamishibai at the schools. So it was just like a tryout, see how it went. So they didn't have any publishing houses at the time. It was later with a woman called Constanza Mekis.
X.
Mekis, she was the director of EB Chile, that she requested the government to buy a butai and the actual Kamishibai stories promoted.
Mm. Hmm.
Entonces, gracias a eso, se descubre un nicho para el Kamishibai y las editoriales que hacían literatura infantil empiezan a adaptar sus cuentos a Kamishibai.
So it was then that they started to adapt the picture books to the Kamishibai stories.
It's very interesting because in Japan, the government used to promote Kamishibai in the schools. And then after the Second World War, actually 1960s, they stopped. And that's one of the reasons that Kamishibai has dwindled in Japan. It sounds like there's more activity in Chile practically. So
Yes.
there's talk now among Japanese Kamishibai practitioners that they need to get the government behind, getting more of Kamishibai in the schools there as well. Okay.
Yo creo que eso ocurre porque como estamos rodeados de tecnología y de pantallas, el Kamishibai recuerda lo análogo. Entonces, desde esa promoción desde el gobierno y en la actualidad, tanto los mediadores como los niños buscan lo análogo. Entonces, disfrutan de la experiencia de salirse de la pantalla y ver un objeto físico para contar historias.
So she thinks that maybe it's because we are so immersed in the technology now that the government now and the mediators, like storytellers, mediators, they try to use more, not so like technology, but at analogous way to tell the story, something they can experience and touch and without a screen.
Right, to get away from
Person.
the technology a little bit for children.
Yes.
Donna is asking a question in the chat. What grades use Kamishibai in the schools in Chile?
than the 4 age to more grades in the kindergarten, desde los 4 años hacia arriba.
Since 4 years old
Mm.
So is
to
it only in the
older.
kindergarten, or how much high does it go?
No, desde los 4 años hasta em, grande, hasta, no sé, 12 años.
12.
Oh, up to 12. Wow.
Yes.
Sí, porque después se empieza a mezclar con otras cosas. Se empieza a mezclar con música o con títeres.
Because
O...
after
Entonces,
12, they
mm,
start to mix it up with music and puppets and other types
mm,
of arts.
ujú.
Interesting. Okay. Any other questions people want to ask?
Parece que no.
Oh, Walter?
Tamara, what are your plans personally going forward with Kamishibai?
Yo quisiera seguir organizando el Festival de Kamishibai, que se hace una vez al año, em, porque depende mucho del apoyo del gobierno y del apoyo de las artes en el gobierno. Entonces, todos los años nosotros rogamos para poder hacer un festival más.
So she hopes to keep doing the Kamishibai Festival in Chile because they always, every year, they ask for the government's support to like sponsor it. So they hope to keep having that the important sponsor next years too and do the festivals.
Right.
Do you think the festivals are inspiring more Kamishibai activity? Are there more and more people joining each time?
Yes.
Mm.
Y ha sido muy lindo porque yo tengo la intención de hacer una fundación de Kamishibai, porque hay muchos artistas que crean Kamishibai en distintas partes de Chile, y a poder hacer un research, o sea, un punto donde estos Kamishibai artesanales o que se hacen en los colegios o que crean las personas y adaptan historias orales puedan ser revisados en algún lugar. Porque una cosa importante es que el Kamishibai no está registrado, no hay cómo registrarlo en los ISBN, porque no es un libro, son láminas. Entonces, cuesta mucho encontrarlo en las bibliotecas porque no es un libro.
So has been wonderful, and she also wants to do a Kamishibai Foundation in Chile because she has met so many people that does Kamishibai. So she wants to make like a focal point where everybody can meet and talk and research, and also she also wants to be able to put an ASBN because the Kamishibais in Chile don't have an ASBN. So if you go to the library, you cannot easily find the stories you're searching for because they don't have an actual formal registration.
Mhm. So this is a question I know Erica Siskett would ask if she were here, so I'm going to ask it for her if she watches this later. As a librarian, she's always wondering how other people use Kamishibai in the libraries and create lending libraries so that families and children can take out the Kamishibai, take them home, and perform them at home. Is this happening in Chile? Are there Kamishibai lending libraries there?
Eh, como hay muchas editoriales que hacen Kamishibai, uno puede comprar los hechos. Las bibliotecas no tienen dónde almacenarlos y no los prestan, se los prestan solo a los mediadores.
So because there are many publishing houses, it's really easy to buy them already made. But if you go to the libraries, they don't lend them to the public per se. They just lend it to the oral narrator, the storytellers that are going to be at the library.
Okay, interesting.
Les puse ahí el link del Festival de Kamishibai, porque una de las cosas que hacemos en el festival es promover los tezukuri, los cuentos de Kamishibai hechos por las personas. Entonces, tratamos de que la gente lleve cuentos propios.
So she shared with you the link of the festival because they also try to promote the tezukuri, so their own made kamishibais. So they try to have own made kamishibais at the festival. Tezukuri kamishibai.
Okay, well, thank you. We only have 2 minutes left. Okay, Walter, you have one more question?
Are Kamishibai stages being produced in Chile? Or do people make them themselves one at a time?
¿Sí son producidos por el Estado, Eteri?
Sí, sí, son producidos así por, ajá, por el Estado o si una persona como individual tiene que buscar hacer su teatro.
Ah, los Butai, sí, no.
Sí.
La campaña del ministerio se hizo el 2008 y duró un par de años y después como que se dejó estar. Entonces pasó que los teatritos y las láminas que se compraron al principio, muchos narradores bibliotecarios los recibieron en los colegios y no los sabían usar. En la actualidad, gracias al festival y gracias a que hay muchas editoriales nuevas, las personas han tenido más interés en aprender Kamishibai y han aprendido o a hacer sus propios teatritos o estas empresas privadas los venden junto con las láminas. Nosotros hacemos.
Las empresas privadas serían las editoriales, ¿verdad?
Claro.
De acuerdo. So at the beginning in 2008, they actually have the butais, the stages at the schools, but they forgot how to use it. So they just have it there, but didn't use it. So it was actually better with the festival. When the festival was done, they start to remember and start to learn again how to use the stages, the butais, and the Kamishibai stories they have in their schools. But for the question that you asked, the general public can buy it at the publishing houses. So they can make it themselves, but the publishing houses also sell the Kamishibai stories with the stages.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, it's 8:30, so I think everybody, we have to pay attention to people's time, but I want to thank our presenter, Tamara, yes, for such a wonderful,
Gracias.
in-depth presentation, and your stories at the beginning were delightful. And
Sorry, I think there's someone that wants to
Oh.
ask something, but she put it in Spanish.
Okay, yes, can you tell us what it
That's
is?
why. She wants to make a question. Is there Okay, I will ask Tamara. But the question is there a physical place where you can access and
Láminas.
check
Ah, sí.
slides in Chile?
Como les decía antes, hay poca organización del formato Kamishibai en las bibliotecas públicas. Una de las bibliotecas públicas que tiene una colección de Kamishibai así formada es la Biblioteca de Santiago y la otra que tiene más o menos varias láminas es la Biblioteca Nacional.
So where you can see like a lot of kamishibais, like you can go to the Santiago Library and the National Library in Chile to see the kamishibai stories.
En el Instituto Cultural Chileno-Japonés utilizan las láminas todavía para enseñar japonés, pero no, o sea, no son de uso público, son propias del instituto. Entonces habría que contactar al instituto, que generalmente es muy gentil y lleva las láminas para narrar en espacios públicos, para poder ver esas láminas que llegaron al principio. Eso.
And they also have it in the Chilean Japanese Cultural Institute, but they don't lend it to public people. It's just for them to use. So you can see them if you ask them to see them, but they cannot lend it to outsiders of Cultural Institute.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you, Etteri, for interpreting.
Gracias.
Yes, in the last moment. That was so helpful. Thank you all for coming. I hope you will join us next month as well. And this will be archived. So if you missed any part of it, you can watch it again. I'm going to save the chat to share with Tamara. And have a wonderful Easter and whatever holiday you celebrate that's coming up. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. See you soon.
Gracias. Gracias a los amigos chilenos que
Gracias.
se conectaron.